feel like I need to do something. Do. It's the final countdown. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Dugout Village channel, and welcome to the last match preview of the season. Yes, the season ends on Sunday, and let's be honest, it hasn't been the best of seasons for us, but there is a lot to take out of it as well. And it was also Roy Hodgson's last game in charge of Crystal Palace. So I'm absolutely delighted to be welcomed by the lads from 1892 Reds podcast. I've been meaning to get you guys on for absolutely ages, but look, Ricky, how are you doing?
Thanks for letting us come on, Doug, finally, as you said. I was saying off air, a bit nervous about the game on Sunday. I think as the time gets nearer, it's a massive, massive game for Liverpool for next season, obviously, to get into that top four. So, yeah, looking forward to it at the same time. But obviously, yeah, it's going to be a tough game either way.
Ricky, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for having us on. I'm more confident with my prediction what I'm going with now. Eze's not in the game. I think I've been saying that someone's doing absolute battering at Anfield after previous results we've had there. And I think it will come this weekend.
Very, very confident. We're also joined by Ali from Pride of South London Fan TV. How are you doing, Ali?
Yeah, not too bad. Bit disappointed with the result in the end yesterday because we lost it just at the end. But actually, the season, I've kind of been counting down the games to the end of the season, to be honest. But I'm quite looking forward to this one because, is this the trilogy? We're after Istanbul and obviously ruining Steven Gerrard's last game at Anfield. Will this be the trilogy that we've all been waiting for?
Well, we obviously hope not. But to be fair, Crystal Palace were the last team to actually beat Liverpool in front of fans at Anfield. So 23rd of April 2017 was the last defeat at Anfield with fans as well. Good evening to Helen. I'm eating my dinner. Well, I hope you are having something very, very tasty as well. Hello to John MC, Lambie, Owen Thomas from the Cop On podcast. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Seamus Moore is in. Chris Welsh is in. Legend of every channel, really. Even all back from my nonsense Twitter ban. What a carry on that was. Being a bit naughty, have you? Been a bit naughty, have we? Good evening, Reds. If you had told me 10 games ago we would grab third, I would have laughed at you. Willow is in. Hello, Willow. Hope you're doing well. Liz Golden is in. And the lovely Sophie awaiting Ricky to slander Jeannie. Well, as you can obviously tell, he is on the thumbnail. That is because it looks like he could be potentially playing his last game on Sunday at Anfield. So I'll start with you, Ricky. How are you feeling going into this one?
More confident, like Eze's at. I think the only attacking threat Palace are really going to have now is Zaha and maybe Andres Townsend. But like I've been saying for weeks and weeks, someone is due a battering at Anfield, and I did say it was going to be Newcastle until we put that poor result in, but I do think it's going to be Palace now. I think Palace are probably on holiday mode a little bit. So yeah, it's going to be Palace getting battered, and I think it'll be something like 4-0.
Wow.
Wijnaldum hat-trick.
I must say you are very, very confident. Luke, how are you feeling going into this one?
I think we'll win the game, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I just think that we've always struggled against. Eze is going to be out. It's going to be a massive blow for Palace, but to be honest, they're a very physical side. They're going to cause us a few problems. They're going to look to go direct for Benteke, like if he starts the game. He's going to be and he's going to want to do well at Anfield, Benteke. He's going to want to prove a point, like leaving Liverpool years ago. Zaha's always a threat. I think he's by far their best player. So it's going to be a tough game. I mean, if Liverpool, if we get the early goals that we need, then I think we'll be comfortable. If we're in if we're an hour in or 70 minutes in and it's only 1-0 or it's still 0-0, Liverpool are going to start to take a few risks, and it's going to leave us a bit exposed at the back. So hopefully we get those early goals that will settle the nerves, and hopefully Crystal Palace are thinking about that beach, obviously, in the summer, because that's a Crystal Palace we need to turn up on Sunday. So, but either way, slightly nervous, but I do think we'll get the result we need to get into that top 4.
Ali, how would you sum up Palace's season?
Pretty dull. Pretty boring. The style of football's been really horrible to watch. Less than 40% possession most games. So kind of been counting down the games until the end of the season, and really waiting for the interesting bits. Who's going to be off the pitch, is who's going to come in and replace Roy. So, but I do think I am excited for this game to be involved, because it really is all that's left to play for is that 4th position, and to be involved on that on the last day, I think is going to be exciting. And we have kind of upset some of the bigger clubs in the past under Roy, and that is something under his management he probably hasn't had enough credit for. We've beaten Man City away, we've beaten you away, we've beaten Man United away. Yeah. And can he do it one last time? Sacco defends like he's ice skating. I did enjoy his fist pump on a touchline at Anfield once. I think it would be nice to see him win, if it is his last game in football, at a club that treated him terribly. And I think he could go out with a bang.
Yeah, he didn't have the best of spells at Liverpool, but whatever happens, I think on Sunday, I think he will get a good reception. I think he'll get a good reception from the fans.
I can't say anything, because I've not really enjoyed Roy. Definitely enjoyed. I think Roy's done a very good job at Palace. Don't get me wrong, but I've not enjoyed this season at all, and I see why Liverpool fans wanted a change. I think there'll be an element of respect between Roy and the Liverpool fans, because then I think ultimately both fans will show their class.
There's a question for you, Ali. Do you agree that Hodgson is greatly underachieved with the squad he has had?
No, I think he's overachieved. Possibly, you could argue more that he's overachieved. He hasn't had the level of investment that previous managers have had. The only really big signing recently was Eze. That everything else he really had inherited, and I think maybe where he went wrong in terms of recruitment was we've never really replaced Johan Cabaye, and when we had Cabaye, we had someone with an incisive pass that could sort of flick us from defence to attack with a flick of a switch, but we've not had that since. And I think in the summer he ended up going for Batshuayi as the Chelsea loan over Conor Gallagher, and actually we needed Conor Gallagher more, and Batshuayi didn't really work out. So I think actually in time Palace fans will look back really, really fondly on Roy's time and the job he's done. He's seen us through the coronavirus period, and if you get relegated now after over a year of no match day revenue and all the corporate stuff that goes with that, it's going to be disastrous. And I think history will be kind to Roy's time at the club, especially as well when you look back at when he came in and saved us from the Frank de Boer debacle. So no, I don't think he's underachieved. I think he's probably done what he should do, but in a really boring manner.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to say, I've got a wee banner here. Yes, this channel hit the 100,000 views mark on, I think it was yesterday. So thank you very much to everyone who watches the channel. I really do appreciate it. So thank you very, very much as well. But what I will say, Luke, what have you made of Palace this season, obviously from the Liverpool side of things?
It's been such a strange season, I think, for a lot of teams. I think Crystal Palace. When we played them, in the reverse fixture, that'd be brilliant for us on Sunday, of course. But I think when we played them in the reverse fixture, I was very, very disappointed with them. It was such a funny game. Because we went a goal up, and they had good chances during the game, but before that, and I think maybe looking at that game, I think maybe throughout the rest of the season, I think that's where I've been a bit disappointed with Palace at times, where they've looked good in games, but they've just not been able to find the net like they should do. Obviously, I speak as a as a Liverpool fan about Palace. I could be completely wrong, but I think Crystal Palace definitely. I think they should be a bit more higher than where they are at the moment in the table. Just considering sort of the attacking options that they've got in their team. I think defensively, I personally don't rate the goalkeeper. I think Guaita's. I don't personally rate him, to be quite honest with you. You might think you're probably looking a bit shocked at me.
I think he's one of the most underrated goalkeepers in the league.
I don't rate him.
That's unbelievable. He is quality. One of the best shot stoppers in the league. I've got to disagree on that one.
Yeah, I've just basing it on other goalkeepers that I've seen in the Premier League. I mean, I think there's only like 3 or 4 that stand out in the league. I don't know. I just something about him. I just don't really rate about him. But I mean, apart from that, I think Palace possibly could be. I mean, the squad that they've got going forward, I think they could be challenging, sort of top 10, maybe on the end of, sort of that Europa Conference leave in the next year or so, possibly. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, I don't watch too much Palace games, but I think just in their squad depth, I think they could be doing slightly better, to be honest.
Right, lads, who's hosting?
It looks like Dougie's gone. Yeah, I mean, what I would say on that is a lot of Palace fans would disagree strongly with you on Vicente Guaita. He's one of our best, arguably our player of the season. What I would say, he is a little bit weak on crosses. He does over punch sometimes, so that might be where you're coming from there. But I would say, actually, you're just proving really that what many Palace fans think, that he's one of the most underrated keepers in the league. I think Palace probably sit where we should in the table, and that's where you can't criticise Roy. The only sort of reason we criticise Roy is the style of play and how much longer we can get away with having less than 40% possession. Going forwards, I think one person you didn't mention, Ricky, was Benteke. He is in great form, and he's actually scored more goals than Firmino in the Premier League this season.
It ain't that hard.
Not many people. That's what I'm saying. It's not hard to do that.
But no, with Palace, they've got a very good attacking outlet in Eze, Zaha, even Townsend can do a job. I do feel Palace have lacked a massive, a goal-scoring threat through the middle. Obviously, Benteke's come through a bit of form. I do think Palace were potentially looking at selling either Zaha or Eze this summer, purely because I don't think Palace have got the funds, because they're losing a lot of players in the summer out of contract. And I don't think Palace have got the funds there to go and do a sort of overhaul of the squad. So I do think if there was a potential offer coming for one of the top 2 in Palace's team, they might have looked to sell. But now with Eze injured, I can't see them trying to sell Zaha.
No, I don't think we would have sold Eze. Zaha, with him only having 2 years left on his contract, and probably the fact that we probably owe it to him to let him get that move at this stage of his career, with him now being 28. But I said it last night. I was on Arsenal Fan TV last night, and I said, I think now we'll only sell him if it's top dollar, because if we sell him, we really will be banging trouble, because we don't have, unless we could get someone straight in as a ready-made replacement, which would be very difficult. To put into context what Zaha does for us, the only thing I think you can compare it to is when Mane was at Southampton, and he scored 11 goals for them when they finished 6th in a team that had Virgil van Dijk. Zaha's done 11 goals in a team that are 13th and average less than 40% possession. People don't. You sound like you respect Zaha, but there's too much lack of respect for him. For me, he doesn't get enough credit for what he does for us, and only when he goes, I think, will it really, really tell. And I just think now I think he must be sitting there worrying, because he does want to move, thinking, is it going to be another frustrating summer for me? Because I don't think the club will let him go easily now with Eze out.
How long do you think Zaha's been wanting? Do you think he wants to go? And how long do you think he's wanted to go for? Because there's been links with Arsenal, maybe rumours of other clubs. I mean, if he's only got 2 years left on his contract?
He definitely wanted to go to Arsenal. he definitely wanted to go to Arsenal a couple of seasons ago, and that's well documented. He's admitted it, and Unai Emery's admitted it, that he met, and Unai Emery wanted him. But basically, the Arsenal board, Kroenke, came out and they said that it was because they went for Pepe for the long term, but it was because they wouldn't pay the upfront fee we wanted of 40 million plus add-ons. Whereas with Pepe, they got a deal over 5 years of instalments. So he wanted that's his big frustration. I think he wanted that move. But I mean, ultimately, what would he have gained out of it apart from potentially playing the Europa Conference League?
Yeah, my phone decided to actually freeze and do an update at the very stupid moment. So yeah, sorry. Thank you for taking over.
That's all right. Yeah, I took over the dugout channel for 2 minutes. It was a great 2 minutes of my life. Yeah.
Newton's asked, what are your thoughts on Frank Lampard potentially as your new manager?
Yeah. So of all the names mentioned, every Palace fan finds a negative. There's not been one overwhelming candidate that we've all supported. But interesting enough, there's some sound bites coming out in the media. I don't know whether they're true or not, that Lampard's pulled out. And I think, as we were talking before we came on air, I think with Eze injured, I think it's become a less attractive job. But out of the candidates, I would go for Lampard. Initially, I was against it based on his defensive structure. If you speak to Derby fans and Chelsea fans, they'll say that was his big weakness. But I would appoint him on the condition that he had an experienced coach alongside him. I think at Chelsea, he lacked what Ollie has in Mike Phelan at Man United. And I think definitely he needs a good defensive coach as well, which is why I'm surprised we're letting Ray Lewington go as well as Roy. But the reason why I go for Frank is our academy is looking the best it has for a long time. Our under-18s came second in their league. We're Category A now. Our under-23s are in their playoff final next Monday. And there's definitely the under-18s are exciting. There's a few Wilfred Zaha vibes in there. And whatever you say about Lampard, you can't argue with his record at Chelsea for bringing through the young players. And what you alluded to, all the players coming out contract, bringing through those young players, I think is a big part of the plan. So I think I also have a feeling that it's Lampard they want. And I don't believe all the stuff in the media that we're still deciding. I think this has been decided a while ago. What's not been documented in the media has that we're similar to Newcastle fans in the way they look at Bruce. We're sad. We respect Roy for the job he's done, and sad that he's leaving football. But we've wanted this change for about a year now. So, yeah.
Chris Welsh has asked Sean Dyche.
I'd rather just keep Roy. I don't really want Prince Harry's dad at the club. I'm not going to lie.
What do you call him, Rick? The Brexit manager.
Oh, mate, terrible.
Again, you can't argue the job he does at Burnley, but you might. That's just like someone in a turgid style of football that keeps you up. You might as well just keep Roy Hodgson.
Mm.
Someone actually called him the bronchitis Simeone, which is a very weird one.
Right.
He's not the Ginger Mourinho no more, is he?
Yeah. Hello. Look who it is. Nielsen. Really could do with a Zaha hat-trick, Ali. I'll come buy you dinner if that happens, Neil.
Neil? Is that Neil from Beyond the 90?
That's Neil, yeah.
Yeah, but big congrats to them. They got to 1K this week, which is mad. I was so tough for them. Yeah, look, Neil, we'll get it in the bag, mate. Don't worry. Like I said, it's the trilogy. This is the trilogy of Istanbul and Gerrard's last game. I've got a feeling it's going to happen. I still remember Suarez's tears of that Istanbul. I was there at the game. One of the best games I've ever been to. It was a beautiful moment. And if I see similar tears from Salah after a Benteke winner, that would be quite joyful on Sunday.
I love how Palace take it as their history. Do you know what I mean? That's brilliant.
We haven't got much to cling on to.
Seamus Moore says, Eddie Howe, I'm 90% certain he's away to Celtic. I'm 90% sure if he's away to Celtic. I think he's waiting until see how Bournemouth do in the playoff, and then I think he'll get his backroom staff. I think possibly Jason Tyndall, possibly with Eddie Howe back at Celtic. I think that'd be a good move. But yeah, I mean, I think Eddie Howe would be a good manager for Palace. But
Yeah, definitely. I think he's probably my number 2 choice behind Lampard. The thing, I think he has been linked strongly. He has been interviewed for the Palace job in the past, way back. I think what puts me off about him is the recruitment got a bit dodgy because they were spending 20 million on dodgy players from Liverpool, like Jordan Ibe and Solanke. So the thing is, what people don't realise when you appoint a managers, they get interviewed, and if I was to be looking at the Palace manager, that'd be the question I'd ask Eddie Howe: is how involved were you with the recruitment at Bournemouth? Because that's my big question mark on him.
Yeah, look, I think the thing is, I think they're going to have to make the decision very, very soon. But I think it's really difficult because I think the thing is, like, Roy Hodgson is going. You've not got someone who, to come. I thought you would have probably had someone to, come in first. But it's obviously up to Steve Pash. And look, yeah. I think that Hodgson has done a good job with Palace, and I think also that the other thing you can say is that he will be missed. I think he'll definitely be missed from the Premier League. I don't know if he'll be missed by Palace fans, but
no. Yeah, I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, Palace fans, I really respect, I've said all season, I respect the job he's done, particularly seeing us through these coronavirus times. And as a man, by the way, in his 70s, who were in that vulnerable age bracket, to see us through these times, I totally put respect on his name. But it is time for a change. I think as well, with all the players coming out of contract, Roy wasn't going to go on forever. So I think it's the right time because a new manager can come in and build a new team now. So yeah, it definitely goes with respect. But I think that's part of the reason. I see what you're saying, Doug. But I think part of the reason why we haven't announced someone before he goes is just to be respectful and let him have his time at Palace and then make the announcement after he's gone. And you could see on the pitch last night how much Steve Parish respects him as well.
Yeah, definitely. Right, I'm going back to the result that I'm sure Ali will not want to hear. The 7-0 result earlier in the season. I mean, Ricky, would you say that was our best performance of the season?
I want to say it's probably the worst result we had all season because after that we just fell apart. I wish we could have saved some of them 7 goals for a few of the other games after it. But no, we played really well. Do you know what? I don't even think we played that well in that game. In the first half, Palace looked a bit more threatening than what we did. A lot of the games this season we've started really slow. And normally if you play against the bigger teams, they punish us in the first 20, 25 minutes if you're not on it. But yeah, just something about that game. I thought we were going to walk the league after that. Then it just completely fell to pieces, didn't it?
I mean, the form just dipped after that, and that was Takumi Minamino's first goal for Liverpool. As well. Then look what happened to him. He seemed to be in a I don't know. I don't know what the running joke is. Like a basement with Ben Davis and Kostas Tsimikas, and then we haven't actually seen them. But yeah, look, I think that 7-0. Was definitely up there, but best performance. I mean, we'll obviously discuss that. We'll discuss that in a later show. But I think it was one of the best performances for sure because we were very, very clinical that day. But yeah, 7-0 was very, very surprising. But as I did say at the top of the show, Crystal Palace were the last team to beat Liverpool in front of fans. So, Ali, knowing that Liverpool are back in front of their fans at Anfield, do you think Palace will be able to thrive off that?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest. I think it will probably be a good atmosphere because it's the first game back. But I always feel like Liverpool, the atmosphere is the best in your bigger games, like in the Champions League. I have to admit, when I went away to Anfield, I was a bit underwhelmed by the famous atmosphere. But I think it will be roaring considering you're all back in there. You've got what's at stake for you. First time you're all really back in there since you've won the title. So I think that will be on your side. But Palace players are used to playing in a big atmosphere. Our fans are quite renowned for being loud. So I think they'll thrive off that. Going back to the 7-0, that was just a weird game. I was more annoyed with the following game when we lost to Villa with when they had 10 men 3-0, because it just seemed like everything you did, every shot you had went in. Like, it was a very odd game. But yeah, I don't think the atmosphere will phase the players. No.
No, yeah, I know what you're saying, because like every time I've been doing my Premier League predictions, I've had two teams that have like really been so difficult to predict. You're one of them, and Leeds United is the other one. You just don't know which teams are going to turn up. So, look, who are the danger men for Palace that we should be looking out for on Sunday?
I mean, one of them's out, fortunately. Zaha, 100%. I mean, we played Crystal Palace last season in the, it was our last game before we was officially crowned champions, and the talk was always around Zaha and I think he came off, was it first 15 minutes of the game? And
yeah,
I mean, during that game, it was, I mean, obviously, I think every Liverpool fan was nervous that night. I don't think that game finishes 4-0 if Zaha was still on the pitch. He caused us problems that day, so I'm definitely Wilfried Zaha is the main man to look out for. Trent's going to be in for a big game on Sunday. I mean, what a way to show Gareth Southgate, if you should be in there anyway, but what a way to show Southgate what he should be made of if he has a good game. Obviously, Benteke for his aerial threat. Hopefully, Nat Phillips is not done with heading double-decker buses away, because that's what we want, obviously, at the back on Sunday. So, I mean, Benteke and Zaha will be a threat. Yeah, I think I'm not sure. Is Milivojevic fit, obviously, for this game on Sunday?
I'm not really sure what's going on with that one. They said it was personal reasons, I think. So we were surprised he wasn't playing the other day. But to be honest, he's had a better second half of the season, but he's been quite poor overall for the last year. He gets a better reputation from sort of lazy commentators because he scores a lot of penalties, and that's basically it for him.
I think he's. I mean, obviously the penalties aside, I mean, we see us Liverpool fans know how we feel about Bruno Fernandes, but you've got the likes. I mean, Milivojevic on a dead ball, like on a free kick, like he's always dangerous for me.
Again, that's a myth. He's really not. He's really bad at set plays. It's been a big frustration from Palace fans all season that he's been on them and not Eze. But we're talking about a manager who puts Harry Kane on corners.
I think the only other player I'd probably look at, probably Van Aanholt. I think he's not a bad sort of wing back.
Again, he's been really not good this season. Tyrek Mitchell, the younger players come through. He might play just because I think he's leaving, and I think Roy might give him a game as a goodbye. Although Mitchell should play because he's the future. Patrick Van Aanholt's had a good innings, but he's been very poor positionally and defensively this season. I think that's the thing. A lot of the sort of pundits, if you're not a Palace fan and you're really watching it every week, no, but there's a few myths around certain players, and I think that's the thing about Roy. It's not just him this season where the frustration. There's been frustration around a couple of players that I think maybe have let him down at times in terms of their form. So PVA could potentially play, but I'd probably expect it to be Mitchell as he's better defensively considering what you've got going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Chris Welsh, another great comment here. Southgate is a 12-year-old manager, clueless. I know we were born, but didn't realise he wasn't born with any eyes or a brain. But Trippier gets called up for breaking betting rules. Yeah, well, we won't divulge into Mr. Southgate anyway. But what I will say, it could be the last games for a couple of players, Ricky, and one of them is Mr. Well, let's just say Mr. I do not rate Wijnaldum. How if it is going to be his last game, which we probably expect it to be, how would you sum up his career at Anfield?
Sophie, we're definitely going to have a debate on this sooner rather than later. But listen, he's done well for us. I'm not going to knock what he's done. I just think if we had a fully fit 11, he don't make the first team. And this nonsense that his ball retention's second to none, it's all good and well having that. But when the goalkeeper scored more goals than you this season. You've not notched one assist in over 2.5 years for Liverpool. I mean, I said to Luke last night on our show, I'm not going to say no more bad words about him. It's his last game on Sunday. I don't think he starts, but I'd bring him on for the last 10, 15, give him that round of applause that he deserves in front of the 10,000 fans. But I just think we are a level above his quality in midfield with a fully fit 11. And even in the summer, we do need, if he did stay, we still would need to replace him in the starting spot in the summer. I just don't think he's that level to take us further forward to challenge City next season.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this now. I think he's gonna be. I think he's a legend, and that's just no. Listen. I just think for what he did against Barcelona alone, I think. Yeah, but the thing is, Wijnaldum came on at half time in that game. Wijnaldum came on at half time in that game. He went to left back.
Divock scored in the final as well. So
yeah, I think with Genie, I think he's been a good player for Liverpool for what 4 or 5 years. To use that, I mean, legend is. I mean, this is going to sound really, really bad, but people like Steven Gerrard's a Liverpool legend. Ian Rush, Kenny Dalglish. I mean, these are Liverpool legends. I don't put Wijnaldum in that category. I think he's a great player. I think he's been a good player for Liverpool. He's not had a good season, not like many other Liverpool players haven't this season. I mean, I was looking at Sophie's comment saying about how midfielders are expected to be goal scorers. To be honest, I think we've heavily relied on our front three to score goals over the last couple of years. I think he's able to. I think he maybe tried to be able to contribute a little bit more to the team this season in front of goal. But I mean, obviously, yeah, he's not the main goal threat, of course. But I think he scores a lot of goals for Holland. Why can't he do it for Liverpool? Different style of play, maybe, but I don't think he's a Liverpool legend. I think he'll go down as a Liverpool great. I don't think a legend for me.
If he's not a legend, then for me he's a cult hero for what he did against Barcelona. But I'll be honest here. When we signed him, I wasn't so sure at the time. 25 million from Newcastle. That's turned out to be a bit of a bargain. I actually think he's been a great signing, and he will be missed. He'll be missed, I think.
I'm not saying he's the worst player in our team by any way. He's a good player. But when you play a midfield three that are all so similar, he's not the first one out of three that you'd pick. He's not the level Jordan Henderson is. He doesn't work hard enough like Jordan Henderson. Fabinho is a better defensive-minded player than he is. So what does Gini Wijnaldum offer in that midfield? Then he should be the attacking midfielder in that midfield three. But he's not. He can't play a forward pass. When do you ever see Gini Wijnaldum play the ball forward? It's like you need an attacking midfielder in that midfield three. And people said he's that attacking midfielder. You see him for Newcastle, bomb box to box, score goals. Like maybe Klopp's got him in the wrong role in that midfield three, which don't help.
Well, he used to be a left winger. He used to be a left winger when he joined us. He used to be a left winger. So yeah, look, I think wherever he goes, I think whoever's getting him is getting a very, very good player. And I'm not slandering Genie at all. I think he's been a very good signing. And
I won't mind him staying. I just don't think he gets in the 11 when it's fully fit.
I think Palace will take him.
Yeah, we'll have him. Yeah, bring him along. I mean, we've got about 10 players out of contract, so we just need anyone. We need some bodies over the line. So, we'll have him.
Right. Some of you are saying, I think Genie deserves a send-off. He hasn't been injured, played nearly every game for so many years. Yeah, he's just been an ever presence in that midfield. Genie's been completely consistent. Stop trashing him, says Liz. You do know you can say we have better quality players in midfield without trusting Gini's ability. He's the only reason our midfield doesn't fall apart. He's the only one who's not been injured. I would agree. I would agree with that. Gini has been the lube in the midfield. He's allowed other players to play at the best. I did not expect you to say lube Anfield, Lark, but there we go. Question for you, Ali. There was a question from Owen. He was asking, who will start in central midfield for Palace on Sunday?
Right, so last night it was against Arsenal. It was James McCarthy, the former Everton player, who I think should have started in the 7-0. He could just sit in front of our back four and protect. And then we had Jeffrey Schlupp, who's in there. He can quickly sort of turn our counter-attack, but he didn't play that great yesterday, really. He didn't sort of pick up a man. So I think you might see Gyro Riddlewell come back in. He's got a bit of an eye for a pass. I think what Roy should do, and I think what actually he might do this time, is go for a very, very solid midfield three. So I think you might see Luca come back in with James McCarthy and Riddlewell if Luca is available. Three solid sort of defensive midfielders. Riddlewell's got more of an eye for a pass. Just protect us against that attack. Hopefully you've learnt the lessons of the 7-0. Because when we lost 7-0 to you, we played a 4-4-2 with two central midfielders, which is just, that was never going to work, was it? So hopefully we'll do that. And then that allows Zaha, Townsend and Benteke to do their thing. Townsend's playing well. He really is linking up well with Benteke. So then we can get you on the counter with Zaha and Townsend. And so I think probably I'm going to go, I think Schlupp might get dropped. And I think it will be Luca, Milivojevic, Riddlewell and James McCarthy. That's what I'm hoping.
This is going to sound really, really boring and very, very uninteresting, but I actually remember James McCarthy and James McCarthy when they were at Hamilton Academicals.
Okay.
Because I'm a Livingston fan, and I actually remember seeing them at Hamilton. So it's quite bizarre that they've actually reunited again at Palace. But
it's also quite confusing to have a McCarthy and a McCarthy.
They done it. Was it a Wigan as well?
Yeah, James McCarthy's been injured. That's been a bit of a blow, to be honest. Regan Wilson, come on Palace, ruin the Scousers season just like you did in 13-14. That's the plan.
Regan, you can get. I'm only joking. My friends. I'm only joking. I hope you are well. Easy now, Regan. Not going to happen, says Liz Goldson. Look, I'm gonna be honest here. I'm confident going into this game. I think the way we played last night, yes, I know for the first 20-30 minutes we weren't great, and then we managed to take over after that. Regan Wilson's asked, can't you get Dwight Gale on a 1-game loan?
I actually had on my channel, I had one of my good friends, Danny. He's a really big Liverpool fan, and he came on. He was a really good sport, and we talked through that game, and his emotions of that game. It's quite a good video. It's on there somewhere on my channel. But yeah, very famous game.
Yeah.
But you're confident, Doug, yeah?
I am actually confident going into this one. I wasn't when we played Burnley. I wasn't when we played United, and I wasn't when we played Southampton. I don't know. I just think it's because the fans are back. The players will definitely want to. Definitely impress. So, with that being said, I'll ask Ricky this first. What is your starting 11 for Sunday?
So I'll go Alisson in goal, Trent, Robbo, Don Phillips. So I just want to stick one at it. I've seen people talk about Reece Williams, how he shouldn't be playing Premier League football. He's not that level. We've got to understand he's still a kid. He was at Kidderminster last year, and there was a moment in the West Brom game where Martin Tyler said, look who's coming up for the corner, number 46 and 47. You got to understand, Reece Williams would be nowhere near this first team if we had Glass Matic at centre-back, Joe Gomez, Van Dijk, So he's still a kid. He's still learning.
Yeah.
He's next to, again, someone that won't be nowhere near the first team in Phillips playing.
No,
so we've got to give a lot of credit with Williams. He's still learning. So hopefully he sticks around in the summer, or maybe goes out, gets a loan move, and then improves in areas that he needs to. But I'd play him at centre back, and then the midfield three, I'd probably go Thiago, Fabinho. I'm gonna say Gini. I don't think Milner's fully fit. Jones, I want to put Jones in a game like this at the minute. I just think Jones is lacking a bit of form. So I'd probably start Gini in midfield just to keep it a bit tight, and we're not getting overrun in midfield early on with Palace. Then the front three, pick the front three itself. Firmino through the middle, Salah and Mane.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Luke, you the same?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm undecided. I think Gini will start, but I would probably start Milner instead if he was fit. I'll probably go with the same 11 to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I think especially the front three. I mean, Salah's going to be hungry, of course, because he wants that golden boot. Obviously, he wants to get in front of Kane. Let's hope Bobby does well in front of the fans, because we know how good Roberto Firmino wants to be in front of a crowd. So hopefully, he had a good game against Burnley. So hopefully, he takes that into this game. I mean, let's be real. Sadio Mane he's had a poor season. We need the Sadio Mane back from last season, especially for this one game. I mean, that's a great. I mean,
that's a great lineup, Reagan. Probably in 2010-2011 season, not this season. Sorry, not.
Yeah,
John MC. Sorry, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, hopefully Mane steps up for the game on Sunday, because we need a Mane. I think he's trying too hard, to be honest. I think against Burnley and West Brom, I think he was just trying too hard. His decision making was a bit off. I know he got an assist for the goal against Burnley. It was a good cross, but I just think recently, I think he's trying too hard, and I think just do the basics well. I think pass the ball when he needs to. Have a shot as well. Like sometimes he's just afraid to shoot in front of goal. So I mean, let's see. But I mean, I'd probably go to a similar team as Ricky. If he's fit, I'll put Milner instead of Wijnaldum.
Yeah, John MC, is it only Robbo and Hendo going to the Euros? Robbo is in the Scotland squad. He's Scotland captain, so he'll definitely play. Henderson, I think, will be in it. I think Shaqiri will be in the Switzerland squad. Origi didn't make the Belgium squad, so that kind of sums his career up so far.
Diego Jota's going. He's been picked.
Jota's going. Good, deserved.
I mean, Gini's going, but obviously he won't be a Liverpool player, will he?
Yeah, Gini from Holland. Apart from that, I can't really think of many people. So the squad should mainly be quite fit and ready to go. James freaking Milner will sub on for game management when we have a big lead, says Liz. Could start Origi in his last game. Imagine that. Well, I don't see that. I agree with Luke. Milner experience can win that match on Sunday. You could start Origi, Chris, but I doubt he will play. I would rather give Glatzel 10 minutes after a long injury. Is Glatzel even in the squad?
Not the first team.
No. Does Phillips remind anybody of Clavan? James Pearce said LFC should keep him. I think LFC should sell. Why? Nathaniel Phillips has been fantastic. Why would you want to sell him?
He's nowhere near the level of Clavan. No, to be... that one turn he did. Everyone shows that video of Clavan. Are brilliant. No, I'd keep Phillips.
Liverpool won't sell Phillips. Kabak will not sign for Liverpool, and Phillips will be that man to step in.
Yeah. Definitely. As a United fan, I want to give credit to Nats Phillips. He may not end up being Liverpool quality, but going to be a really good Prem defender. He'd be great for a team like Burnley. Yeah, he certainly would. He certainly would. Ali, Trent, Reece, Phillips, Robertson, Fab, Thiago, Curtis Jones front three. The three subs will be Alex, James, and Neko. Interesting. The less Liverpool players of the Euros, the better. We don't need any unwanted injuries. I absolutely agree with that. Neko Williams will probably be in the Wales squad as well. That's another one that just came to my head as well. Don't start Kabak versus Phillips debate. Only one winner for me. Phillips. Yeah, Phillips is a no-nonsense centre-back. Ali, what is your Palace starting 11 for Sunday?
Right. To start with, I just want to say, when I was talking about the central midfielders, I forgot about Kouyaté, and he will probably play. So I would go with Vincente Guaita in goal, your former player Nathaniel Klein at right back, although I think it will be Joel Ward, but I prefer Klein. I don't really understand why he hasn't been in the team for the second half of the season. And then left back Tyrick Mitchell, centre backs James Tompkins, who's just come back from injury, which is a big plus for us, and Gary Cahill. And then my central midfield, as I was talking about earlier, that solid base in order to allow our attacking players to do what they can do and break. So I'd go with James McCarthy just sitting in front of the back four, which is what we didn't have at Sellers Park when you beat us 7-0. And then I'd have Jairo Riddewald, who's got a bit more of an eye for a pass. And then I'd have Kouyaté alongside him, who can get up and down a bit more. But you've really got 2, possibly even 3 defensive midfielders in there to allow Andros Townsend and Saha to break with Christian Benteke. And Benteke is in a really, really good form. He has brought back the Benteke of Villa. And that's kind of where I'm looking at it, is can Saha get beyond Robertson and Trent Alexander? Both great players, but they're very attacking fullbacks, and he usually finds a bit of space against Liverpool. And obviously, at some point, if you're not winning, you're going to have to go for it because you need to. So can we get you on the counter? And then obviously your inexperienced centre-backs, can Benteke bully them a little bit?
Benteke needs a new contract, doesn't he?
Yeah, to be fair, that's the obvious line, but he has been finding his form again over the last year. But I don't know if he'll stay with us now, because people looking at him in the last few months will think, well, that's a good little signing on a free. So I don't know.
Well, Phillips versus Benteke is going to be a very good aerial battle.
I was just thinking that's going to be a very interesting battle. Also, Benteke did make the Belgium squad as well. So look, I think Benteke's form has been fantastic, and as you say, he is well and truly on form. But hopefully, Phillips and Williams take care of Benteke. What's happened to Jordan Ayew? Is he injured?
He's just he had a good season last season, but I don't know. He's not naturally a great player. He works very hard. And last season, I think he just peaked and he had a very good season, but he's not a natural talent. For me, he's been overused this season off the bench. I mean, he came on yesterday for 10 minutes and missed a chance. I would have brought Batshuayi on, who's a much more of a natural finisher. I mean, Jordan Ayew, you might see, he does like to play Jordan Ayew in these kind of games because he works hard and he runs a lot. But I mean, Forrest Gump runs a lot and he didn't play football. I mean, not that I'm not that he's all right. I think at where he's been playing this season has been on the right hand side, but Benteke's forms has helped Townsend find form, because Townsend's our player who can really deliver those balls for Benteke. So I would expect to see the Townsend-Benteke relationship continue, with obviously Wilf in there as well.
Really, really interesting. Right, now is the time for score predictions. So, guys, get your score predictions in the chat. Oh, actually, I'm not giving you my starting 11. That may help, eh? That may help. I've actually not changed it. So I've got Alisson, Trent, Reece, Phillips, Robertson, Fabinho, Wijnaldum, Thiago, Salah, Mane, Firmino, and then the bench would be Adrian, Neko, Keita, Woodburn. What Keita is there? Woodburn, Shaqiri, Shimikas, Milner, Ox, and Origi. So that would definitely be like that. Reagan Wilson has asked you. I think we've probably covered this, but who would you like as next Palace manager, Ali?
I think we covered it at the start of the show, and I said Frank Lampard. The only name I didn't mention is the other name. This is the other one, a former Liverpool manager, and I think it might seem a long shot, but if he's managed under a Mike Ashley budget at Newcastle, is the other name I'd throw in there would be Rafa Benitez, who's looking to come back in England.
Great manager.
Yeah.
Interesting. Right, so score predictions. I will start with our away fan, Ali. What's your prediction?
Oh, you coming to me first? Oh, 3-3 with Dwight Gale to score. No, I'm going to go with. I think it's going to be a very good game, and I think we'll win 2-1.
Interesting. Luke?
You know what? I've been quite negative in all my podcasts about Palace in my predictions, and I'm going to go for a Palace win because it's the last game of the season. 2-1 Palace. You'll be 1-0 up. Then 88th minute, Zaha will win a penalty, and that'll get us to 1-1. And then in the 95th minute, it will be a Phillips own goal.
Okay. Luke?
A very comfortable 7-0 win. No, do you know what? 3-1 Liverpool. I think we're going to go in front. I think Palace will equalise, and I think we'll win it in the second half. I think 3-1.
So I'm not laughing at your prediction. I'm laughing at something that Regan wrote in the comments. Klopp out, Big Sam in.
No, we live rent free in his head. Honestly, did you see?
I do not want that overrated dinosaur anywhere near our club.
He was going on about what Antonio said during the West Brom West Ham game, and he still brought Liverpool in. He was like, they were incredibly lucky to win. I was like, honestly, mate, we live in your head rent free, literally. Right.
Yeah. Ricky, what's your prediction?
I'm going to stick with the 4-0. I just think someone's due a bashing at Anfield after recent events, so yeah, I'll stick with 4-0.
I'm going 3-0. I think we will win. I think if we get an early goal, the floodgates might open. But if we don't, then it's going to get nervy. You know, it reminds me of the Middlesbrough game when we have to wait 45 minutes, and then a certain Mr. Number 5 opened the score. So I'm going to have a bold statement here. Wijnaldum gets a farewell goal. I'm going for Wijnaldum to get a farewell goal, and I'm going to go for Salah to get the other 2 to win the Golden Boot, because I think Leicester will beat Tottenham, and I also think Villa will beat Chelsea. So it would be us and Leicester going through. Sorry, Josh. I honestly do. I think that Chelsea will slip out. I think they're going to have one eye on next Saturday. Would you agree with that, Luke, or do you think Chelsea will just scrape it?
I think they're going to lose both games. I really do. I think Manchester City are going to be up for this Champions League final. They're going to take it by storm for me. I think Aston Villa with Grealish coming back. Watkins is in great form. A late shout for me. Watkins will want to get into that England squad maybe. I think Chelsea are going to struggle on Sunday. And I do agree with what you're saying. I do think they could definitely have one eye on this Champions League final. But, bring it all the way. Liverpool and Leicester in the top 4. Chelsea to lose the Champions League final. Tuchel's done a great job at Chelsea then, hasn't he?
What happens if what happens? I don't know the answer. Do you know the answer? If Chelsea drop out and then win the Champions League, does the 4th place still get their place?
Yeah, so it's 5 teams.
Okay. Yeah, that's rule changed when we won in 2005.
It would have been if Arsenal would have won the Europa League and finished out the top 4, with Chelsea winning Champions League, then whoever finished 4th would have missed that.
Okay.
I just think the way Villa played against Tottenham last night will just give them confidence going into the Chelsea game. I didn't think Chelsea were that great the other night against Leicester, and I didn't think they were great in the FA Cup final either. I think possibly tiredness is coming into bank with them, but I could be wrong. Ricky, who gets top 4?
Leicester and Liverpool. I think agree with Luke. I think they lose both. I think they lose against Villa and they lose the Champions League final. I just think City are destined to win a Champions League, and I think it will be this year. And I think next season will be the last season you see Pep at City.
Interesting. Ali, who's getting top 4?
I think Chelsea will draw with Villa. So I think I'm going to have to back my prediction, though, aren't I? So I think, I think probably. Do you know what? As well, I think Tottenham. I think Tottenham will do better than you think. I think it could be Harry Kane's last game for them, and I think he'll want to do well. And I think that game might be a draw as well. So I've got a bad feeling. I'm sorry, Neil, that Leicester might just miss out, which I really don't want, because I really want Brendan. Because for me, Brendan Rodgers gets top 4. I think he's manager of the season. I do rate him a lot, but I just think don't underestimate it. Could be Kane's last game for Spurs factor. I think that will make him a lot.
Reagan, just to let you know, Liverpool can't go into the UEFA Conference League. They can go into the Europa League. They can't go into the UEFA Conference League because they are further clear of 7th. So they can't get into the European Conference League. I think the place at that moment, is Tottenham. I think Tottenham are at the moment.
Yeah,
which is
get it as well.
Yeah. Arsenal could make it. I think Everton.
West Ham might be, I think West Ham could drop in there as well. But I think
West Ham just need a point. They just need a point.
West Ham need a point to guarantee 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they will as well. Reagan Wilson, don't mention Tottenham, Douglas. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, just before we got, did anyone see Reguilon's OG yesterday?
He's passed the Watkins as well for the 2nd goal as well.
It's out to have a nightmarish game in about a minute as well. Guys, that is the last match preview of the season. I honestly can't believe that it's the last match preview, but it is, and we've obviously got the Euros to look forward to as well, and then we start all over again in August as well. Also, June the 14th, I think it's June the 14th, that is when the fixtures are announced for the next season's fixtures, so should be very, very interesting. But a big thank you to my guest, Ali, the Eagle, as I like to call you. Where can we find you on the socials?
Yeah, if you just come and find me on YouTube on Pride of South London Fan TV, look me up. Please subscribe. It would be great. Going to possibly do some stuff around the Euros, so it won't just be Palace content, but I will have a review of the match on Sunday as well for you to check out. So yeah, press that. Come and check it out and subscribe. That would be really good. It'd make me and my gnome very happy.
Yeah, I've left Ali's socials in the description down below, so obviously go and subscribe.
Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. And also, Luke and Ricky, it is lovely to have you both on. Finally, it feels like I've been saying that because I've been on your channel a couple of times. It's nice of you to come on my channel. Where can we find you on the socials?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant to be on, Doug. Really appreciate it. Ali, of course, thanks obviously hopping in with our predictions as well. It's been brilliant. Definitely we're going to subscribe over to your channel.
Yeah, great to meet you guys.
We, of course, are the 1892 Reds podcast, obviously dominantly Liverpool based. Obviously, yeah, come and subscribe to our channel as well if you like. We're going to be doing some stuff around the Euros as well, just a little bit, mainly, England games and the home nations as well. So, yeah, come and check us out, 1892 Reds podcast on YouTube. Obviously, follow us on Twitter as well. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And we will see what happens on Sunday. And if you are going, I know a certain Chris Welsh is going, enjoy the game, and we will see what happens on Sunday. Can the Reds get top 4? They may not even have to rely on other results either. Just do your job, basically win, and top 4 is secure. So, it's the final game, Roy Hodgson. Can Roy Hodgson go back to haunt his former club, or will Liverpool do the job and get top 4? From all of us, it is good night, and we will see you next season as well. Take care. Bye-bye for now.